Good evening, all. I'm Karen. Happy to be with you tonight to discuss thought patterns. How thought patterns can literally make us who we are. So, thought patterns. What are the stories you tell yourself? Thoughts run through the brain 50,000, 55,000 thoughts a day, they say. Some thoughts just come and go. Other thoughts get stuck and they become a story. Now, stories, are they fact? Are they fiction? The more we spin a story that just starts as a tiny little thought, it can ignite unbelievable emotion. The emotion can be pro or con. When you find yourself in a thought pattern, because we all have them, catch yourself. Ask yourself, is this an old familiar story? Is this something new? Is it truth? Is it untruth? So if you find you're in the monkey mind, sometimes you're not even able to discern whether it's truth or untruth. Because sometimes we just begin to spin in that energy field and we find ourselves tripping up, getting sloppy, getting distracted, getting disturbed, and often it's our imagination running amok. Sometimes it has to do with hormones. Sometimes it has to do with whether or not we skipped a meal. Sometimes it has to do with whether or not we had a good night's sleep. Sometimes we can feed off other energies amidst our space. So, remembering this, words carry power. The body believes what the mind says. So, positive affirmations can really help the disrupted, disturbed thinking patterns. I often like to use the green light, yellow light, red light example. So you're having a day where, first of all, when you wake up in the morning, I don't know about you, but sometimes I could just get going and go everywhere. So I find a technique that really helps me before my feet hit the floor is to just let myself come together when my eyes first open. I don't need an alarm clock. My circadian rhythm wakes me up pretty much at about the same time, early in the morning. And I give myself a few minutes before I leap out of bed to just let, so to speak, my dream body re-enter my physical body. The Native Americans believe that at night, the dream body leaves the physical body and it travels. So when you awake in the morning, sometimes that dream body has not fully re-entered the physical body. So just give yourself a few seconds, come to gently, come to lovingly, and don't start to spin if you can help it. Just take a few quiet moments to gather yourself, and that can happen organically. This is not even something that you need to drive or steer or direct. Just go to your breath. Take a moment, recognize that you've been given a new day, And maybe you want to pause in that space for a few seconds just to reflect gratitude. Here I am, another day. I woke up this morning. You know, a lot of people in the world don't wake up in the morning. So if you've been gifted another day, start centered if you can. And what will begin to happen is you'll develop patterning. This is at least positive behavior, not detrimental behavior. So just give yourself a few moments. Focus on the breath and how it's moving through the body. Really relax the body into the mattress. Just let everything go for a few moments. You'll begin to recognize when everything seems to converge into a space of equanimity. So maybe it's going to be a minute for you. Maybe it'll be 3 minutes for you. Maybe it'll be 5 minutes for you if you have the luxury. But if you just stay in present moment awareness, you will begin to recognize when you're ready to up and go. Let's just say you get up, you roll up into a seated position. Take your time even doing that. Don't jerk yourself around, because the way you establish that tone first thing in the morning is pretty much the way your day will unfold. So sit up, put your feet to the floor. Take a moment, take 2 moments. Okay, now I'm sitting. What's going on? If you begin to notice sensations in the body, whoa, my shoulder, I must have slept crooked, oh, my neck. Try just to look at it and just be in present moment awareness. I'm sitting up. This shoulder feels a little different than this shoulder. It can just be one shoulder feeling differently than the other, rather than giving one shoulder a label. Oh, my good shoulder, my bad shoulder. Your body will believe what your mind says. So choose your words, choose your consciousness wisely. The next step is to get up. Maybe you want to go over to a chair in your bedroom and you just want to have a couple of minutes there. Maybe you don't have the luxury. And if you don't have the luxury, create it. If you have to just beeline out of bed and get things going, give yourself an extra 7 minutes for you before you have to be like a racehorse at the starting gate when the bell goes off. As you begin to integrate into your morning, stay in the moment to the best of your ability. Before, I do it too, before my feet are even traveling from the bedroom to the kitchen, typically what I do in the morning is put the tea kettle on. But sometimes I make 3 stops before I get there for the tea water. Maybe I'm folding a blanket that I didn't fold the night before. Maybe I'm fluffing a pillow. I catch myself and I think, just go to the tea kettle. Stay in present moment awareness. It's so easy to get derailed. I mean, in a heartbeat. And then from one derailment, you jump to another derailment. And then from that derailment to another. And finally, you're witnessing what you have neglected to remember. Wait, now where was I going? I was intending on that direction, but this, that, and the other thing happened. If you slide away from present moment awareness, just re-engage it. It happens and it will continue to happen, but over time you'll begin to train yourself. And remember, it's training, it's practice. So just be patient and do your best to stay in the moment. In this day and age, you know, we look at multitasking as a way of life. And I know that some people are better at that than others, but I personally, since I've been a young woman, I do better with 1, 2, or 3 things, because there's no perfect scenario. So just be aware of your state of mind when a thought becomes a story and a story will trigger an emotion. Now, thoughts, they're layered into us. I've been working on a lot of things that have happened to me in my life that I was convinced that I had managed, but I'm learning otherwise. And I don't know what it is, but I'm going back to memories of things that occurred when I was very young, and I did not verbalize them. I didn't know where to put them, so I kept them to myself. And they weren't all good things. And you manage and carry on. That was pretty much how I was raised by the two strongest women in my life, my mom and my grandmother, my mother's mother. And everything was, oh, stop, shh, just carry on. Now, that can work as a pro, that can work as a con. Of course we have to carry on. Women carry on. But if we're stuffing things down, you can only stuff so much. And then everything you've stuffed is kind of layered in muscle memory or cell memory. And sometimes that discomfort or discourse can literally perpetuate acid reflux, insomnia, high blood pressure, a whole host of things. So there comes a time in life where patterning can really work for us favorably. But sometimes there's detrimental learned behavior. And you come to a time in life where things can become rote. That happens, so this is how I react. Why? Because that's what I've done. That's been my patterning. And how can we expand if we just respond or react a certain way and expecting a different result? So that's another thing. When something sweeps in that triggers an emotion, once in a while, it's a good idea to just wait before you say something. That's called responding, not reacting. I had a student share with me some months ago. I've known her for a long time. And boy, did it register with me. She said to me one day, sometimes, Karen, things are better left in the thought bubble. They don't always have to come out the speaking bubble. It's essentially saying something very similar to that of reacting or responding to a situation. I didn't even know that I really knew that I had the luxury of that. When things have come at me as a young woman, a middle-aged woman, and now an older woman, I always felt like I had to give a quick response. Even if someone's got a problem, I got to jump in and try to fix it. I have to have a remedy for them. I started to realize that that's not my job. And we give ourselves those jobs. Sometimes it's just wise to be a good listener. Sometimes it's wise to listen, to take a short amount of time, and then respond to a situation rather than react. Reaction often, that way you respond, or the words that you emit, they can't be taken back. Once you put the words out there, they carry energy. And why would you want to react to something if you know you're not in a space of equanimity? So it's your job to gather yourself. There we go again with the thought. Why did they say that? How dare they say that? Just sit with it. Sometimes when something like that is coming at you, you don't have to judge it, grade it, analyze it. You just have to be with it. Okay, so that's coming at me. That's just merely a view. I don't have to do anything about that person's view. Acceptance. That's another big piece. Acceptance. Look at what's happening with us these days. And I know we're all getting tired of what's been going on. Some of us are actually adapting to a new norm. I said that to the guy who was rotating my tires this morning. I said, are you getting used to the new norm? He goes, oh, I don't think so. And I found myself actually thinking that I'm getting accustomed to this new norm, because the more I found myself resisting what's been going down, you know, what you resist persists. Acceptance. And remembering that even in the space of acceptance, it doesn't mean I have to love it, I have to hate it. I just have to recognize that that is precisely the now. And the now will always change into another now. The future becomes the now. It's not the future anymore. So things always change. Things always dance and breathe, Maya Angelou always said. Everything is forever changing. And if you can find the space of acceptance, you're going to do a heck of a lot better health-wise. And that doesn't mean that you're going to be sloppy with acceptance. Oh, I'm just going to accept that I don't have a job right now and I'm going to loaf around for a little while. No. Accept that the job situation has changed. But remember, when a door closes, a window opens. It's the time in the hallway that could really get to you. And sometimes we just have to be in the hallway, waiting for what the cosmos, what the universal order has in store for us. If you're out there doing the work, whatever that is for you, just to stay aligned with the universal flow, the opportunities will line up. So how do we go about changing our thoughts, at least altering them? When a thought comes in, is it elevating you or is it depleting you? Is it a reality or is it fictitious? How often does a thought creep in and it's a future event already realized? Because we've already given it a beginning, a middle, and an ending. I had friends of mine years ago say to me, why are you worried about that journey, that road trip? And I had all my reasons why. And one day, one of them said to me, you know, you're creating this scenario before it even happens. You're expending energy towards this future event already realized. And if you're giving it energy, especially if you're giving it energy to the place of fear, that is defeating oneself. So when you're getting derailed into that kind of place, stop yourself. Ask yourself the following. What about this story do I know to be true? And then determine, what about the story you know to be true? And then the rest of it, you can laugh off, you can put on the back burner, and just in present moment consciousness, you can literally witness what unfolds. Sometimes you don't have to get too involved. Often you don't have to get too involved. I had a day today that I had planned out to go in one direction. There were so many things that changed my direction today. And the outcome, by the time I got to this lecture, was fabulous. Had I gone the other route, I'm not so sure that a lot of things that were pending for me to manage just got managed. And it was just like the universe tapped at my door and helped me to outlay each thing. Now, there were a multitude of things that took some time. And had I been busy with the other appointments, I would not have been able to give them that kind of focus. Like Verizon, 2 hours and 5 minutes today. Thank goodness I had the 2 hours and 5 minutes. And even when I was in the time of getting cut off, trying the number again, finally I had to go to the store in Denville. And the guy said, I can't help you. You have to deal with customer service. I said, no, I really need your help, please. He tried to just derail me from going there. Oh, there's a line. You're going to have to wait outside. Sometimes it takes a lot of time. You'd really be better off managing this on your own. I said a little prayer on the way there, and I just asked the angels for a little bit of help. And it all got fixed, but it took a heck of a lot of time. Even the attendant, who was wonderful, couldn't get through to customer service. And I'm sitting there and I'm just sending positive thoughts to the whole situation. I swear to you, it was this simple. His store phone rings and it's tech support, Verizon tech support. And he was troubleshooting something that he had started with this fellow in the AM. And he put him on hold and he said to me, this is unbelievable that we were on hold with customer support for 40 minutes and tech support, Verizon tech support, called in with another matter. And that's how my matter was taken care of. I didn't even tell him that I was invoking the angels. I don't know what he would have thought. But all I knew was that I just kind of looked up through my mask and gave a little wink. And I was like, you see what happens, Karen Noel? When you're patient, things unfold. I swear, sacred comes into the ordinary. And I just really talked myself into staying peaceful. I'm like, you're the only one in the store. There's a beautiful rain shower happening outside. This kid is taking care of business. Just stay present. Stay in the conscious flow of the moment. So I'd like to share with you a few isms that might help. And then I'd like to do a few techniques that will absolutely align the monkey mind or the puppy mind or the disruptive mind. And you can put these into your toolkit. So just take a few moments to just close your eyes, digest what you've heard, see if there's something there that might be useful. There has to be one or two things that just popped and resonated with you. And positive affirmations go far. Here's one that I ripped off my calendar first thing this morning. Today, there is enough time and space for everything I want to do. Don't beat yourself up if the thoughts avalanche, if they weaken you, if they take your power away, if they create anxiety, if they create fear, if they create worry. Just go back to that space inside of you where the silent knowing space where all is well. Loving myself gives me extra energy to work through any problem I engage more quickly. My life is a labor of love. Breathing techniques release stuck energy, stuck emotions and thought patterns. Many of you who have attended my yoga classes, my meditation classes, have learned a lot of breathing techniques. When you're going to that monkey mind, catch yourself, become aware of your state of consciousness. Where am I right now? Am I doing this to myself? Is this true? We talked about that earlier. Just catch yourself and talk yourself into a space of equanimity. Laugh at yourself for whipping up a story that's a tale. That's not a truth. When we get stressed, stress is wanting the present moment to be something that it is not. Goes back to acceptance. Am I accepting what I'm being shown, or am I resisting it? Well, why are you not going to believe what you're being shown? The sooner we get to the place of acceptance, the less we will suffer. Suffering is an option, so the Buddhists say. All right, so something happens, you suffer. But how long do you want to stay there? You could suffer for a week, or you could suffer for a half hour, or you could suffer for 2 minutes. I know this might not sound like it's going to make sense right away, but you'll process it and you'll understand it. Suffering is a choice. It's a choice. Accept only the present moment. You can take action from the more intelligent aspect of the moment. So, again, I'm in the moment. Am I in the space of intelligence, or am I in the space of stupidity? Here I go again. Future events already realized. I'm creating the story. It's not often true. There's actually a little technique that you can do, and we go over this in my classes. Some of you may remember it. If you squeeze your pinky finger moderately, this will harmonize this sensation of pretense. So the story you're telling yourself that's not true, that starts with a thought, and then it spirals into something, a whole chapter, and you've wasted a heck of a lot of energy. And most often it's untruth. So I've had people tell me that they use this in doctors' offices when they're waiting for their appointment time to be called. Squeeze your pinky to neutralize the sensation of pretense. When the imagination runs awry, squeeze your pinky fingers moderately and take 3 breaths. So do that now if you can. Slow, steady in-breath. Smooth, steady out-breath. Just harmonize the sensation of pretense. Stay with that for another 30 seconds and make sure you do 2 pinkies. And take your time, don't hurry. Worry is a created narrative in your mind. There we go again. How can we neutralize the sensation of worry? Thumbs, squeeze. This is Jin Shin Jitsu. They use this at Morristown Hospital at the Cancer Center. Worry. Neutralize the sensation of worry. Worry is a created narrative in your mind. Take 3 breaths. Easy ones. Be gentle with yourself. When it feels like enough, go over to the opposite thumb, squeeze moderately, and breathe. Neutralizing, harmonizing the sensation of worry. Release when it feels like enough. Usually, negative mental creation triggers emotion. Uncertainty can cause panic. Don't reject uncertainty. Accept uncertainty. Accept the uncertainty of the future, especially now. We really don't know what the future holds. But if we stay present, all we have to deal with is the acceptance of where we are right in this moment, not even in this day, in this moment. We can dance back and forth with things. But remember, we are all part of the collective consciousness. So let's just take a moment there. Think about all of us, this beautiful community, as part of the all, the collective consciousness. What kind of vibration are you exuding, into the universe? Are you accountable for the energy you bring? I know sometimes when I go into a place of fear, because I do periodically, I can really snowball it. And I can literally change. I have a friend that says to me, you morph into these other energies. And I know exactly what he means, because I can literally see in this work people's faces just morphing. It's kind of like shape shifting. You can tell when someone's just at peace, feeling joyful, feeling balance and harmony, or you can sense when they're in a place that is not serving their highest, best self. And we create that. We employ that. I don't know why we do, but we do. I guess because we're human. Inner stillness can also bring you to centeredness. Let's just say you're having a day where everything is fine. I'm starting out the day, everything feels like it's relatively going well. And then all of a sudden, it's just not okay. Everything just starts fragmenting. A real good remedy for that is to put yourself into a place of pause. Now, in this society, I know that we often view a pause as a weakness, but a pause is really a strength. If you can come to the place of inner stillness, the place of the silent inner knowing, I'm sure you've had the experience of just being still, being the passive witness, and everything just feels like it's all right. It's not something you turn on or off. It's just something that is. It just can come into the manifest and surprise you. So often, if you just practice inner stillness, go out and sit outside. Do it first thing in the morning. Be still. Pick your favorite easy chair. Close your eyes. Listen to the birds. Feel the breeze. Look at the beautiful hues of green. Notice the sky. Someone said to me the other day, I was outside in the morning and the birds were really loud. I think they're singing a lot louder than they used to. I said, well, what about if the background sounds have merely been minimized because this planet right now is in repose? Maybe that's all it is. Maybe the birds aren't singing any louder or chirping any louder. It just seems that way because there's not a lot of background noise. Now, I noticed today things were a little bit busier than they've been, especially being in town. A lot of the stores are beginning to reopen, having part-time hours. There's a lot of red ribbons on the doorknobs of the establishments. That's how you can tell that they're coming back to life. But when you sit with birds, close your eyes, take a few moments and just notice the cacophony of sounds. And as part of a morning meditation, or maybe a meditation at the gloaming hour, the birds are singing happily at the end of the day too, before they say goodnight. Imagine yourself connecting with one bird. Now, maybe it's a bird that you see, maybe it's a bird that you hear. Imagine the little heart of that bird connecting with your heart. And just sit in stillness and in quiet and observe and connect with that one tiny animal, heart to heart, because we are all part of the collective. And that little bird is as important to this universal cosmic consciousness as we are. And we're all little specks that make up the collective. So just spend time meditating with that one little heartbeat tomorrow morning if the weather is conducive to going outside. And if you're not outside, just open a couple of windows in the room you're sitting in. Sit in your favorite chair comfortably. Close your eyes. Embrace inner stillness. And that inner stillness is not just, oh, I'm just sitting still and doing nothing. It's that intelligence, that higher mind, that cosmic consciousness that connects us to the all. But try to connect with one little bird's heart for 3 minutes, heart to heart, and just breathe with that little bird. and notice how you feel as you go through each moment, and then ultimately how you feel when you come out of that space. It's going to put you on a totally different level. And whenever you pop away from that, whenever you go to that disturbed mind, bring yourself back to that little intention that set the tone for your day, to just connect with that one tiny bird's heartbeat, heart to heart. And just be present with that and be in gratitude. Don't play into the media chaos. Link into collective hysteria minimally. You should tune into what's going on every day, but just get enough of what you need to stay in the loop and then unplug. Because sometimes it's just too darn much. And it goes in and it spins and it spirals and it gets layered into us, and it affects our organs, it affects our glands, the way we sleep, the way we move about, it affects our blood pressure. You are responsible for the energy that you collect. You are also responsible for the energy you bring. So just be mindful, be aware, don't judge. Even if you get derailed, if you go from green light to yellow light and then you wind up at red light, don't beat yourself up because you didn't see it coming. Just try to do better the next time. Let's take a few moments. I want you to close your eyes. I want you to sit up straight. I want you to breathe into the count of 4. Hold to the count of 4. Breathe out to the count of 4. Let's do that for about a minute. Inhale slowly to the count of 4. Hold it to the count of 4. Exhale to the count of 4. Now, I'm going to let you roll at your own pace. If you feel like you want to expand a little bit and count to 5, hold to 5, exhale to 5, make it yours. We'll take about a minute here, maybe a minute and a half. So decide upon your number. Inhale to that count, hold it to that number, and then breathe out to that same number. So you're holding to the count at the top of the in-breath. You're exhaling to the count, and then you're holding at the bottom of that exhale to that same number. And then just give yourself some time to breathe organically. Just breathe the complete breath. Slow, steady inhale. Smooth, easy exhale. Remember, you can count on a new breath. With each new breath, let the body relax just a wee bit more. With each new breath, release the areas of resistance in the body. With each new breath, release any thoughts coming in relentlessly. So the thought will come in, but just put it on the back burner for a few minutes. Not now. Remind yourself, not now. I'm realigning my brain. I'm reconditioning my body. I'm repairing my organs. I'm regulating my blood pressure. Oxygenate your cells. Unite the mind and body with the breath. Breathe in new energy and fresh air. Breathe away all the toxic, turbid energy. Release it into the ether to be recycled as something positive. Just a few more moments here. Repeat silently after me. I recognize that awareness is the first step in healing or changing. I become more aware with each passing day. I take brisk walks in the sunshine to invigorate my body and my soul. I have the power to create all that I wish with my mind and my thoughts. I am truly someone special. And I'll leave you with this. For the month of May, I focus on my home, ensuring that it is tranquil, safe, warm, and welcoming. I find my sacred chores to be fun, as it is a way to show love for my surroundings. I regularly clean out clutter, or at least straighten, so that any stagnant energy departs with it. My home is my sanctuary, and love fills every room. Imagine peace in and around you. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease. May we be happy. May all beings be filled with loving kindness. May all beings be well. May all beings be peaceful and at ease. May all beings be happy. Namaste.
Namaste.